What if I told you America's sweetheart grew up feeling completely unsafe in her own home? That her father's approval was the one thing she could never earn, and it broke her heart every single day? That her own mother wouldn't even speak to her on her deathbed? And that before she became Rachel Green, she was told to lose 30 pounds if she ever wanted to work in Hollywood? This is the real story of Jennifer Aniston, the girl who grew up in the shadow of a famous father, who survived a messy childhood, who became the most beloved woman on television, and who had to rebuild herself from the ashes of a very public divorce. And trust me, you don't know half of it. Jennifer Joanna Aniston was born on February 11, 1969, in Sherman Oaks, Los Angeles. She was born into Hollywood royalty. Her father, John Aniston, was a beloved actor best known for his role on the soap opera Days of Our Lives. Her mother, Nancy Dow, was also an actress. Her godfather was none other than Telly Savalas, the iconic star of Kojak and one of her father's closest friends. On paper, it looked like a fairy tale, but behind closed doors, it was anything but. Aniston's parents divorced when she was just 9 years old, and that divorce shattered something inside her. She later described her childhood as destabilized and unsafe, a household where she witnessed adults being unkind to each other. She said, "I grew up in a household that was destabilized and felt unsafe. Watching adults being unkind to each other." She watched her parents fight, watched her father struggle with his own demons, and felt the weight of a broken family pressing down on her. In a 2025 interview with Vanity Fair, she revealed that seeking her father's approval was the driving force of her entire life. She said, "It was the thing that drove me and was also my biggest heartbreak, trying to impress and prove your value to a man who's only capable of so much." She grew up hoping that if she could become a successful actress, her father would finally love her the way she needed him to. "He would love me as much as I love him," she confessed. Aniston's relationship with her mother was equally complicated. They became estranged, and even when her mother was on her deathbed, Jennifer chose not to reconcile. She later said, "I forgave my mom. I forgave my father. I've forgiven my family. But the scars of that childhood never fully healed." She watched her parents' unhappy marriage and decided she would never be like them. She said, "I didn't like the idea of sacrificing who you were or what you needed, so it was almost easier to just be kind of solo." That decision would echo through her romantic life for decades. But before she could heal, she had to survive. As a child, Aniston was a natural artist at age 11. One of her paintings was actually exhibited at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. In New York, she attended the prestigious Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts, the same school that inspired the movie Fame. She loved acting, but her journey to Hollywood was brutally hard. When she first arrived in Los Angeles, her agent told her to drop 30 pounds if she wanted to get any work. She did it. She was desperate to prove herself, desperate to get her father's approval, desperate to escape the pain of her childhood. She landed small roles on TV shows like Ferris Bueller, Molloy, and Muddling Through. She even had an uncredited role as a dancer in Mac and Me, a 1988 sci-fi film considered one of the worst movies ever made. But nothing stuck. Then came 1994. The show was called Friends. The role was Rachel Green, a spoiled rich girl who leaves her fiancé at the altar and learns to stand on her own. Aniston brought something special to the role: vulnerability, comedy, and a relatability that made women everywhere see themselves in her. She once said, "I read the script and I related to the part. It just was real. It was just a beautifully written and delicate expression of human beings relating to each other." The show became a cultural phenomenon, and Aniston became an icon. Her haircut, the Rachel, was copied by millions of women around the world. She won an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and a Screen Actors Guild Award. She was suddenly the most famous woman on television. But the fame came with a price. The media dubbed her America's sweetheart. It was a label that would follow her for decades, defining her in ways she never asked for. In 1998, Aniston started dating Brad Pitt, the biggest movie star in the world. They were the ultimate Hollywood couple. They married on July 29, 2000, in a lavish Malibu wedding that cost over $1 million. For years, their marriage was considered the rare Hollywood success story. The media loved them. Fans adored them. They were the golden couple of the new millennium. But then came Mr. and Mrs. Smith. In 2004, Pitt started filming with Angelina Jolie. The chemistry on set was undeniable. By January 2005, Pitt and Aniston announced their separation. The media went absolutely insane. T-shirts were sold with the phrase, "I'll have your baby, Brad," a cruel joke about rumors that Aniston refused to have children. She later denied those rumors in Vanity Fair, saying, "I've never in my life said I didn't want to have children. I've always wanted to have children, and I would never give up that experience for a career. But the damage was done." The tabloids painted her as the wronged woman, the abandoned wife, the victim. She hated that narrative. She said, "I don't think Jen actually wants to be the symbol of every woman's sympathy and compassion." But that has what's happened. The Brad-Jen-Angelina triangle became the biggest celebrity scandal of the decade. Aniston was locked in what people called a Bermuda Triangle of tabloid coverage. She couldn't escape it. Every interview, every red carpet, every movie she made, the questions always circled back to Brad and Angelina. It was the most public and humiliating experience of her life, but Aniston channeled her pain into her work. In 2006, she starred in The Breakup alongside Vince Vaughn, a film about a couple going through a messy split. She later admitted that she drew on her own personal emotions for the role. She said, "I related to the part. It was real. It was a beautifully written and delicate expression of human beings relating to each other." The film grossed $204 million worldwide, her second biggest box office hit at the time. Aniston's career continued to soar. In 2003, she starred alongside Jim Carrey in Bruce Almighty, her biggest box office success to date. In 2008, she starred in Marley and Me with Owen Wilson. The film set a record for the largest Christmas Day box office sales ever, earning $14.7 million on Christmas Day alone. It stayed at number 1 for 2 weeks. She starred in a string of hit comedies, Just Go With It, Horrible Bosses, We're the Millers, and Murder Mystery. She became one of the highest paid actresses in the world. Her net worth is estimated at $300 million, and her films have grossed over $1.6 billion worldwide. She received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2012. She was named the sexiest woman of all time by Men's Health magazine. But with all her success, Aniston has never forgotten where she came from. In 2016, she penned a powerful essay for the Huffington Post about the objectification of women in the media. She wrote, "We are complete with or without a mate, with or without a child. We get to decide for ourselves what is beautiful when it comes to our bodies. We get to determine our own happily ever after for ourselves." She also became a passionate philanthropist. She donated $500,000 to the Red Cross and another $500,000 to the Ricky Martin Foundation to help hurricane victims. She said, "We live an extremely beautiful, fortunate life, being able to do what we get to do for a living. And so it's a way of being able to be in a position to do something for people who are less able. It's something that makes my heart smile." In 2019, Aniston made a triumphant return to television with The Morning Show on Apple TV+. She played Alex Levy, a powerful, complex, deeply flawed anchor navigating the #MeToo era. It was a role unlike anything she'd ever done. No comedy, no romance, just raw, powerful drama. And she was brilliant. She won a Screen Actors Guild Award and received Golden Globe and Emmy nominations. At 56, she proved she could still reinvent herself. In 2024, she released a short biographical documentary, sharing her story with the world. And in 2025, she opened up about the deepest pain of her life, the complicated relationship with her late father. She said, "He was my biggest heartbreak. trying to impress and prove your value to a man who's only capable of so much. But here's the thing: before her father died in 2022, she finally heard the words she had been waiting her entire life to hear. He told her he was proud of her. It was the closure she never thought she'd get. She also spoke about the trauma of having to belly dance for her Greek family during family gatherings. As a child, something she still gets anxiety about today. She told Jimmy Kimmel, "I have inner trauma from having to perform and belly dance in front of my Greek aunts and uncles and grandmothers. Even after all her fame, all her success, she still carries the scars of that childhood." In 2015, Aniston married Justin Theroux. They had a private wedding at their Bel Air home, but by 2017, they had quietly separated. The marriage ended in divorce in 2018. Despite her two failed marriages, Aniston has remained resilient. She once said, "I don't want to be anywhere other than where I am right now. I'm not sitting somewhere dwelling on the past." It was a feeling of total peace. Aniston has also opened up about her struggles with anxiety and fear. She admitted that she's terrified of flying despite being a frequent traveler, and that she's even more terrified of water after falling into a pool as a child. But she doesn't let those fears stop her. She's built a production company, Echo Films. She's produced and starred in some of the most successful projects of the past decade. She's become a mentor to younger actresses. When she joined Instagram in 2019, the app literally broke because so many people tried to follow her at the same time. Before her father died in 2022, she finally heard the words she had been waiting her entire life to hear. He told her he was proud of her. It was the closure she never thought she'd get. Today, at 56, Jennifer Aniston has a new man by her side. In July 2025, she was spotted in Mallorca, Spain, with Jim Curtis, a 50-year-old hypnotherapist and life coach. They were introduced by mutual friends and started as friends before things became romantic. She told Elle, "He's quite extraordinary. He's very special, very normal, and very kind." In November 2025, Aniston made it Instagram official, posting a photo with the caption, "Happy birthday, my love, cherished." By May 2026, they celebrated their first anniversary. A source told People, "It's a great partnership and makes Jen very happy. Jim's a special guy. Everyone loves his energy. Friends say he's different from anyone she's dated before, calm, grounded, no drama." Another source said, "In many ways, it's the most mature relationship she's ever been in. But not everyone is thrilled. Some friends are worried she's moving too fast." An insider told the Daily Mail, "Jen is all in. She has let him move part-time into her LA mansion and she's desperate for him to propose." Her friends are telling her to slow down. There have also been whispers about where they'll live. Jim loves New York. Jennifer loves California. He quietly took his NYC apartment off the market, sparking speculation. Despite the concerns, Aniston seems genuinely happy. She's been turning down acting projects to focus on her personal life, because love now means more to her than work. She once said, "You've got lemons? Let's make lemonade." From a girl who grew up feeling unsafe and unseen, to a woman who conquered Hollywood, survived public scandal, and finally found peace, Jennifer Aniston's story is proof that your past doesn't define your future. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell for more untold stories. See you in the next one.